Hello everyone, my name is Eric, and today I want to talk to you about a revolt in cigars, or at least the one that's named after that. You are watching Oakland Tobacconist. If you're interested in the Dissident Revolt or many other dissident sticks, check us out, make certain you join the OGT community. Please don't forget to like, to comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you're alerted every time we produce new content. I want to talk to you today about the Revolt cigar by Dissident, but overall Dissident cigars as they are. You've heard of me talk about them multiple times. They've even been in our OGT Cigar Society with some of their limited drops. Last year was the Home 2023. This year was the Heretic Lonsdale, which was originally like Midwest exclusive, and then it was able to be opened up within the society. I really like what Dissident is doing because it's against the grain, as would be so like living up to their name, but it brings really interesting flavor, really interesting dynamic complexities to the blends that they create. One such, and it got really high recognition amongst our community, was the Home 2023, and that was having a barber pull. You kind of have like a sliver of like the Maduro, and then you have that Corojo in there as well, and that brings a lot of different elements out. It was like medium plus. You get good sweetness from it, good earthiness, a little bit of white pepper up front, but not too crazy. Well, later that year, and this is what's remaining for unfortunately, a lot of times when we're talking about boutique cigars or limited cigars that are created amongst those brands, they unfortunately, once they're gone, they're not coming back. And one such one would be the Revolt. So when we release the Home, as we do every year, and we will do later this year, is we ask anyone who had picked up a cigar from our humidor, who's a part of our community, a customer of ours, to please drop down your top 3 cigars of the year. And then taking in all of those votes, we tally them together, and then we get our top 10 cigars by popular vote. So it's not like I'm influencing anything in terms of getting more vote than others. In fact, everyone's vote is worth the same, and we take those top 10, and from there we then have like the highlights. Well, Home was in that top 10. I believe it was number 9. Anyone who had tried it really liked the way it was blended, the way it was complex, but also dynamic and full at the same time. And so taking the blend of the Home and inverting it, Dissident then came up with the Revolt. The Revolt was released in one size, a 5x50 Robusto. It's taking that same blend but inverting it. So instead of being a primarily Maduro with highlights of Corojo, you mostly have a, visually at least, more Corojo with highlights of Maduro. And then inside the blend, there's a little bit of tweaking, pretty minimum, using the same Ecuadorian binder and the Nicaraguan fillers inside. When you light up the Revolt, it is taking that like pepper spice that you have up front, and it's really amping it up. You get a lot of wood characteristics, a lot of leather characteristics, a touch bit of coffee bean in there, but really for me, wood and like white pepper really stand out. Now, something to consider, amongst bigger brands, amongst bigger names, you often get like an array of sizes. Some SKUs are 6 different sizes of the same cigar, or 7. But in terms of like smaller scale production like this, or just a limited production, you get one size. Now, that could have some advantages and disadvantages. Maybe you'd like to try it in, let's say, a Lancero, or a Figurado, or a box press version. But the thing I do like about it, I do enjoy, is that the size that it is released in is the size that was intended by the blender. So going through the process and talking with Sin Colburn, who is the owner and also very involved in the blending of Dissident cigars, they go through different inflections until they find the right size that works with that particular blend. When you have the Robusto, I feel like those amplified notes of pepper and wood and earthiness really get turned up, because as we all know, Robusto is like a secondary translation of robust. And when you light this up, immediately out the gate, you get those flavor notes, those heavier notes that are really spice forward, bring a gravity, unlike the Home, a bit more aggressive. The thing I like about this particular cigar is I personally like to pair cigars and bourbon together, and I have found this one pairing with a very oaky, a little bit of barrel spice type of bourbon, maybe a little bit of vanilla and maple in there as well, goes exceptionally well with Revolt. I think it does brilliantly in playing in with those bourbony notes, as well as the spicier tones and the earthier tones of this cigar. Now, this was a limited that was dropped down in 2023. Recently, we got a small batch back, and unfortunately, it's not one of those cigars that are just lying around. It's one of those gems if you're a fan of Nicaragua, if you're a fan of interesting different blends, but also maybe even barber poles, this is an excellent showcase from Dissident that brings all of those things to life. Revolt was their limited last year. This year for 2024 was the Plasmatic. Also very good, very different blends. I feel like this one's a bit more aggressive, but definitely on the fuller side. I think it's an excellent cigar, and as I say, a really good whiskey pair. Drop down in the comments, what are some of your favorite Dissident cigars, whether limited or core line, and what ones would you like to maybe see brought back? As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time on Oakland Tobacconist.